The smell of trouble in Willow Grove. Peace has a scent, one most folks never think about. In Willow Grove, it's the crisp tang of mowed lawns, the faint chemical bite of a neighbor's pool, and the smoky promise of a Saturday barbecue. For 6 months, I'd been soaking it in, trying to let it wash away the sharper smells of my past gunpowder, sweat, and fear. My name's Tom Harlan, a retired Navy SEAL, and I came to this quiet Virginia suburb to leave that life behind. But on a muggy July afternoon, a new smell crept into my sanctuary, the sour whiff of deception. It stood on my porch in the form of 2 men dressed as cops. The taller one leaned against the railing, hand resting on his holster like he owned my house. The shorter one clutched a clipboard, his knuckles pale with nerves. "Sir," the nervous one said, voice cracking, "we got a complaint about some suspicious activity in your backyard." I nodded, letting the sweat from my workout cool on my skin. My eyes locked on theirs, taking in the details. Their badges gleamed. Their uniforms were crisp, and a sedan idled at the curb. Everything seemed legit almost. After 15 years in the SEALs, you learn to spot the cracks. It started with their boots. Cheap surplus store knockoffs, too shiny, no wear. Real cops log hours on their feet. These boots hadn't seen a shift. The uniforms were a shade too light. The holsters flimsy nylon no officer would trust. The car? A decent fake, but it lacked the antenna cluster of a real cruiser, and I spotted the faint outline of a rental sticker on the windshield. In a heartbeat, my mind ran the checklist. Boots wrong, gear wrong, car wrong. Then the tall one's eyes flickered not at me, but at the modest house next door, where Dr. Henry Wells lived, a reclusive man who jumped at his own shadow. That's when it hit me. I wasn't the target. I was the excuse. The complaint came from one person in Willow Grove who treated the neighborhood like her personal fiefdom. Margaret Tate, the iron-fisted head of our HOA. She didn't like me, a 6 feet 3 inches veteran who kept to himself and could run 5 miles before her coffee cooled. I pulled out my phone, angled it to record, and played dumb. A complaint? From who? The tall one smirked. That's confidential. Just keep it quiet. People want peace here. Another glance at Wells' house. I smiled. Can I get your names and badge numbers? Their faces froze. The nervous one stammered a fake name. The tall one just glared. I'll follow up with the sheriff, I said. They left, their fake cruiser peeling out. The smell of cut grass was gone. Trouble had arrived. Inside, I locked the deadbolt, the sound no longer comforting. My war was supposed to be over, but it had followed me home. I sat at my kitchen table, now a command center, and reviewed the video. The tall one's impatience, the nervous one's twitching classic signs of a lie. In the background, a curtain twitched at Wells' house. He was watching, and he was scared. I called my old teammate, Dave Carter. Run this plate, I said, sending the video. 2 fake cops showed up. Something's off. Dave sighed. What mess are you in now, Tom? I didn't know yet, but I was about to find out. I dug out my go bag from the closet, a relic of my past. 3 tiny HD cameras came out. One in a tacky HOA-gifted garden gnome, one in an oak tree, and one for my perimeter. By dusk, my laptop showed live feeds of the street. A black van with quick-fix plumbers pulled into Margaret's driveway. 2 men, built like linebackers, carried a heavy toolbox inside. They left in 28 minutes too short for a plumbing job. Across the street, Wells' door cracked open, his pale hand snatching the mail before retreating. He was a prisoner in his own home. The next morning, I woke to find all 4 tires on my truck slashed deep, professional cuts. Not vandalism, but a message, we can get to you. I didn't feel fear, just a cold resolve. Dave called. The plate's a ghost, tied to a dissolved shell company. One guy's an ex-ranger, dishonorably discharged, now a mercenary. This is big, Tom. NSA's tracking a black market tech auction. The prize? An AI drone system. The lead scientist vanished with the code. His code name is Sparrow. I stared at Wells' house. Dave, what's his real name? A pause. Henry Wells. The puzzle clicked. Wells was Sparrow, and Willow Grove was a trap. I needed to reach Wells without spooking him. When he crept out to water his wilting marigolds, I seized the moment. Trouble with your truck? He asked, eyeing the tires. Not just the truck, I said. Those weren't real cops yesterday. Were they, Dr. Wells? He flinched, but I pressed gently. You're scared. You don't have to be alone. Inside my kitchen, he broke. They've watched me for months, cars, emails disappearing. I thought I was paranoid. He was a drone scientist, creator of Project Starling, an AI that could control thousands of drones as one mind. It could save lives, he said, or end them. My company planned to sell it to the highest bidder. I ran with the code. Margaret Tate, he suspected, was part of it. I told him who I was. Tom Harlan, SEAL for 15 years. They brought this fight to my door, I said. That makes it mine. We turned my house into a fortress. We didn't board windows, that's a signal. Instead, we moved furniture to create a fatal funnel in the living room, forcing intruders into a narrow path. Wells rigged the floodlights to a timer, a trap to blind night vision goggles. I hid his data drive under a floorboard, giving him a dummy USB. I called Dave, demanding a federal cleanup team stay back until I signaled. Your way, Tom, he growled. Don't die. At 2 a.m., the power cut. Darkness swallowed the house. 2 teams hit front and back. I signaled Wells to the bathroom, then melted into the shadows. The front door clicked open. 2 men slipped in, rifles raised. They stepped into my funnel. I struck silently, dropping the first with a nerve strike, the second with an elbow to the head. Outside, Wells' floodlights blazed, blinding the rear team. I flanked them, taking one with a chokehold, the other with a brutal kick. The last man drew a knife, but I disarmed him in seconds. For down, no shots fired. I knocked on the bathroom door. It's over, Henry. He emerged, awestruck. I called Dave. Package secure. For gifts for you. FBI vans rolled in, cuffing Margaret as she glared venomously. Wells was whisked to a safe facility. The mercenaries were part of a corporate espionage ring. My takedown crippled their operation. Weeks later, Willow Grove settled. Margaret's house had a for sale sign, and I sat on my porch, the air thick with grass and roses. I hadn't buried my past. I'd repurposed it. My skills weren't a curse if he'd saved a man and his work. The war didn't follow me home. My duty did. I'd answered it, and Willow Grove was peaceful again. What do you think? Was Tom justified in using his skills to fight back, or should he have left it to the authorities? How do you view the role of violence in confronting injustice, especially when it invades your home? Share your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. Let's debate what you'd do in Tom's shoes.